President Trump is fast-tracking energy projects, nuclear, as we just heard, but also oil and coal. At the same time, the president is proposing slimming down the Department of Energy, their budget. So how does the administration ramp up the energy agenda while streamlining the government? Let's bring in U.S. Energy Secretary Chris Wright. Secretary Wright, thank you so much for being here and being part of our special. Let's just start by talking about the Trump energy agenda, because it's so important not only for national security, for energy, but the overall economy. Talk about how the president and you are working together to fast-track energy projects in this country and roll back some of that red tape.
Yeah, the quality, affordability, and reliability of a state or a country's energy system just dictates how well it's going to do in this world. So we had 4 years of obstructions in energy, driving up prices, reducing reliability. So our roadmap's easy. It's go the opposite direction. We're allowing the growth of U.S. LNG natural gas exports. We're helping permit pipelines. We're helping people build the infrastructure that consumers and customers are demanding and that new businesses wanting to come to America or expand in America are demanding.
Yeah, that infrastructure is so important to be able to not only get the resources, but be able to move them around, Secretary. You're talking about faster permitting. You're talking about making the process less onerous than it has been before. You're also talking about more drilling of existing wells, but also exploration. Energy production in this country basically stayed stagnant under Joe Biden, but we gave away millions of barrels that we could have been producing. So how do we ramp up quickly?
I think it's just setting the right business conditions for people, that people can get permits for export terminals. Like natural gas in the U.S., we produce a tremendous amount. The limit on how much we produce is how much we have the ability to move it to an end marketplace, either a factory, a home, or a power plant in the United States, or a terminal to export overseas. So we have approved in just over 100 days expansion, new terminals that'll have the capacity greater than the second largest exporting nation in the world for LNG. That's just the new approvals. So we're going to make the U.S. rapidly the powerhouse in global natural gas, which, by the way, is the fastest growing energy source on the planet. We're also doing the same thing for oil. We're allowing people to build pipelines and to get permits and build infrastructure to grow American energy production and businesses to come to our country and locate here. So this isn't subsidies, this isn't money, this is just creating the business conditions for private businesses to invest.
And this is so important because we're not just talking about the same old energy story, which is consumption in this country and being dominant on the global stage, relying less on other countries. But now we're talking about the emergence of AI as a completely new industry. And you're talking about natural gas, which will specifically be able to power the future. I know the president has said that he wants us to be the leader in AI, and energy is so important for that.
Absolutely, absolutely, Jackie. The last 20 years, we've seen so many energy-intensive industries, think steel and autos, that have left aluminum, that have left the United States and gone to be produced in Asia and then shipped back into our country. President Trump wants to bring those industries back to the United States, but to do that, you need a sane regulatory environment, and you need affordable, secure energy. And as you just mentioned, we have a brand new energy-intensive manufacturing industry coming into play. Artificial intelligence takes huge amounts of electricity and delivers intelligence. So what we're trying to do is allow people to build power plants and generation of all kinds. It'll probably mostly be natural gas because that's the most affordable and fastest to build today. But we want to see nuclear built. We want to stop closing coal plants. We're going to see solar continue to grow and hopefully storage and better grid stability coming along with solar. That's been a problem in the past, but I think there's solutions to that. But yeah, we want AI to be here. The U.S. needs to lead in this industry.
And talk to me a little bit about reinvigorating those areas of energy that have been left for dead in this country. The coal industry has been impacted, and the president wants to revive it because we actually produce clean coal in the United States. So that represents a lot of jobs and energy resources. Also, nuclear. A lot of these plants have been shut down, but they're being put back online, and there are plans for the future because the president's strategy is one that accounts for all types of energy working together.
Exactly. To have a great energy system, you want it affordable, secure, and you want diversity of supplies and of locations of plants, because things happen in this world. Coal has been the largest source of global electricity for 100 years, and it will be for decades to come. These sort of political virtue signalers saying we're going to close our plants, coal plants in the United States and get rid of coal, that's not happening at all. The rest of the world is building coal plants and growing. So what we're going to do in the short run is stop closing our existing coal plants. Our biggest source of electricity is natural gas. Number 2 is nuclear. 3 is coal. So you got to worry about the top 3 at a start.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, yes, the Palisades plant in southwestern Michigan was shut down 2.5 years ago. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So that plant is being back online, hopefully around the end of the year or early next year. We're going to stop the closure of coal plants, and we'll continue to see the building of new natural gas plants, and hopefully very soon we'll see the building of meaningfully new nuclear plants. Very excited about what's going to happen with energy in the U.S. in this administration.
Absolutely. We are poised for a boom. Very quickly, I want to look at the other side of the story, rolling back the Biden green agenda, because as we know, that's where a lot of the money went and where the resources were. Gas stoves, good shower heads, these things are back per President Trump. Here's the president talking about just that.
You ever try buying a new sink and no water comes out? Your shower heads, your toilets, the whole thing, it's a disaster. We now have it so you can have as much water as you want. I don't like taking a shower where the water goes drip, drip, drip onto my luxuriant hair. So we've opened up the shower heads, the faucets, the toilets, the washing machines that don't give you water. All of that stuff has been opened up.
Secretary, the president is making appliances great again.
Absolutely. There was the Trump campaign in a nutshell. Just bringing back common sense. We're going to make people have to buy expensive clothes dryers that don't work as well. That's just, I mean, who came up with these crazy ideas? So we announced just a few days ago at the Department of the Energy 47 repeals or rollbacks of regulations for all the things he just spoke about. Get rid of these ridiculous restrictions on shower heads, what kind of cooking stove you want to use, what kind of clothes dryer you want to use. That stuff is nuts. Americans don't like it. It just makes their lives more expensive and less enjoyable.
Yeah.
We want a life to be affordable and abundant.
All those issues and the appliances actually weren't that efficient. You know, if you end up using more water because you need a longer shower, how much are you really helping anyway? Secretary of Energy Chris Wright, thank you so much for being here. Great to see you.
Thanks, Jackie. Great to be with you.